Water is vital to everyday life. Whether it's for consumption, recreation, or agriculture, clean water is one of the building blocks upon which our society is constructed. Nowhere is that more evident than in Mississippi. Mississippi is a state of almost 3 million people, bounded to the west by its namesake river and to the south by the Gulf of Mexico. The state is divided into 10 major river basins with more than 82,000 miles of streams. In many ways, the story of the Gulf and river are the story of Mississippi.
Our waterways have been what made our state, and it still today is what makes our state what it is. You look at where our highly populated areas are, our high growth areas, it's around our surface waters, and so that's why it becomes more and more important as we continue to populate that we do it in such a way that protects what made our state what it is today.
The Mississippi River has a drainage basin of more than 1.2 million square miles. 41% of the U.S. drains into the Mississippi River. It has helped shape American history and commerce, including tourism and the fishing industry. The recent Deepwater Horizon disaster has focused national and international attention on a precious resource that is the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico is I believe the 9th largest water body in the world. It is the 6th largest economy. Deepwater Horizon, its impact and the degree of impact is yet to be determined. Some of the monitoring that we had to do and that would have been scheduled has been impacted not only because of the diversion of resources, but now if you're determining baseline's changed.
One of the biggest challenges facing Mississippi's surface waters, the Mississippi River and the Gulf, is the presence of excess nutrients in these waters.
Nutrients is one of the things that makes the Gulf productive. We need a certain amount of nutrients to maintain that productivity. The problem occurs when we get too much of any single nutrient. In this case, most of the time it's nitrogen, it could be phosphorus, but it does a couple of things. It causes the wrong kinds of organisms to grow. In this case, different types of algae. That eventually leads to an overpopulation. Those algae fall to the bottom and die and begin to decay. The water stratifies, then you lose oxygen levels at the bottom. And of course, oxygen is the thing that drives the productivity of the Gulf. You can't have healthy fisheries without it.
The Gulf of Mexico contains a hypoxic zone that is a result of nutrient-laden freshwater from the Mississippi River flowing into the Gulf. The largest hypoxic zone in the United States forms every spring and summer in the Gulf of Mexico, just west of the mouth of the Mississippi River. Excess nutrients come from a variety of sources. Rainfall on over-fertilized residential and agricultural land carries these chemicals into water bodies. Rainfall also can wash nutrient-rich animal waste from farms and pastures to waterways. Wastewater treatment plants and overflow from failing septic systems can discharge nutrients. Atmospheric nitrogen also deposits into water. Reducing excess nutrients in water has become a high priority at the national, regional, state, and local levels. A holistic approach to nutrient reduction must include cooperation among states along with federal agencies and programs. The Mississippi River Gulf of Mexico Watershed Nutrient Task Force, historically led by the Environmental Protection Agency and made up of federal and state agencies, was established in 1997 to study eutrophication, or impacts from excessive nutrients, and to minimize the effects of hypoxia in the Gulf. In 2010, Mississippi became the first state to co-lead the task force. To improve the health of the Mississippi River Basin, including water quality and wildlife habitat, the National Resources Conservation Service developed the Mississippi River Basin Healthy Watersheds Initiative. This initiative helps producers in selected watersheds in the basin voluntarily implement conservation practices that avoid, control, and trap nutrient runoff, improve wildlife habitat, and maintain agricultural productivity.
There's 12 states that's actually involved in that, and what we have done, we just didn't work with the low-lying states. We went as far up as Wisconsin. The ultimate goal was to reduce the amount of nutrients that actually got into coastal water. So it's so important to have those states involved in doing the same type of best management practice that we are doing here in Mississippi.
At the regional level, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida formed the Gulf of Mexico Alliance in 2004. The group combines resources to enhance the ecological and economic health of the Gulf. With Mississippi as the lead, the Nutrient and Nutrient Impacts team is focusing on obtainable long-term goals that can be pursued across the region.
So what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico Alliance along the coastlines of the 5 Gulf states is now expanding into up into the watershed of the Mississippi River, because we know quite clearly we can do everything we want along the coastline. If we don't go up into the major watershed that feeds into the Gulf, we're not going to be very effective.
At the state level, the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality and Delta F.A.R.M, a Delta-focused agricultural stakeholder organization, co-lead the Mississippi Delta Nutrient Reduction Planning and Implementation Team. The team was formed to develop a nutrient reduction strategy for the Delta, Mississippi's primary row crop, agricultural, and aquacultural region. This team is comprised of more than 50 staff from 17 state and federal agencies, academic institutions, stakeholder organizations, and individual Delta producers.
Our strategy had 2 major components. First and foremost is we must address our own nutrient issues and develop a strategy that addresses our situation here in Mississippi and the Mississippi Delta. But furthermore, we also work very hard to develop a plan that could be transferable to other states and other areas of the country so they could more easily develop a plan for their region.
The strategies focus on the land use and cropping systems found in the Delta and were developed to help bring stakeholders to the table. Best management practices were developed along with an effective monitoring program.
We're very concerned about protecting our property, our soils, our environment that we and our family enjoy. We make our livelihood off of the land. So this was very easy to do because we want to preserve the topsoil, keep it in the fields, out of the lake. We want to clear up the lake and improve the water quality.
The plan is being implemented in 6 selected watersheds impacted by excess nutrients. These watersheds demonstrate the successful approach of early stakeholder buy-in. Local involvement has been key to the success of the programs from the beginning. This is one of the building blocks for an effective nutrient reduction strategy in any state at any level. While the Delta nutrient reduction strategies are being successfully implemented in Northwest Mississippi, other areas within Mississippi have their own unique issues. Effective nutrient reduction strategies must be adaptable to a range of conditions and needs. Mississippi is currently developing and implementing nutrient reduction strategies for an area in the northeast part of the state. This uplands nutrient reduction strategy will expand upon the Delta approach to introduce strategies for other potential sources, such as livestock and timber. Mississippi is also developing and implementing nutrient reduction strategies for coastal watersheds. These include critical nutrient sources in that area of the state, such as urban and residential storm water runoff, point sources, and atmospheric deposition. The goal now is to take successful strategies and use them across the Gulf region and beyond. Implementation will provide the needed information to evaluate these strategies, calibrate future nutrient total maximum daily loads, and support states as they consider appropriate nutrient criteria for coastal waters. In the end, the hope is for cleaner water with less hypoxia. By educating the public, engaging stakeholders, and leveraging local, state, and federal agencies, a complete team approach has been built to better protect the waters of the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi River.
What we've been talking with the public about across the state, and more people have begun to realize over the last several years, is that there are activities that all of us undertake, whether it's recreational, at our home, farming, all types of activities that can impact the waters of our state by surface water runoff, especially when we're dealing with nutrients. So we've got to be mindful about what we do in our own backyards, in our own operations, whether it's industry or non-industry, that may adversely impact the Mississippi River and ultimately the Gulf of Mexico.
There is plenty for all of us to do at home, at work, at play. For more information on how you can help, contact the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality